ConnoiShoer in the building.
See my soul, you see my shoes.
We are.
So that's why, yeah, that's how we
ConnoiShoer in the
See
building.
my soul, you see my shoes.
We are.
So that's why, yeah, that's how we
ConnoiShoer in the
See
building.
my soul, you see my shoes.
We are.
So that's why, yeah, that's how we
ConnoiShoer in the
See my
building.
soul, you see my shoes.
We are. I got the custom kicks with custom flips. Stepping outside on some custom ish. Ooh, I'm just telling, shoestrings so cold. I caught a felon. I got the custom sneaks with NIKKI G. A-Rob and TIFF so clean. I'm talking soul to soul, show to show. It's the ConnoiShoer. My shoes are better than yours.
Where do you see my kicks? Where do you see my kicks? Heat check. Where do you see my kicks? Where do you see my kicks? Heat check. Where do you see my kicks? Where do you see my kicks? Heat check. Where do you see my kicks?
Hey, you know what time it is. Welcome to another episode of The ConnoiShoer, a sneaker show that talks about everything from soul to soul. I'm your girl, NIKKI G. I got my girl, my sis, Tiff, to the right. And we have a special guest today, Mr. Kane himself.
Yes, sir.
What's going on with you? Welcome to the shoe. Welcome to the soul.
Props to the bartender.
I mean,
This is
cheers. You
You
know.
know, I'm not even a drinker. I joke about it, but I say I have baby liver because like I get drunk way too easy. Like 2 shots and I'm just like, take me home. I can't do it. Like yeah, it's bad. Like I had 2 beers like about 2 weeks ago, just out at a function. Like drunk 2 beers and I drove home and I got home and like I was so dizzy. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm
But
literally
beers-
talking to myself though. Like really, Brian? Like beer? Like
Beers hit a little different.
But
Beers hit
it
a
must
little
be a medical condition. It has to be. It has to be baby
What?
liver or something.
Wow. It has to be baby liver.
Baby liver. I don't know what else to call it.
Nah, so we do try and make sure that we cater to the guest ConnoiShoer. And so we made sure that we kept it nice, but we kept
Yes,
it pretty
it's very good. It's
smooth
mellow.
tonight.
It's smooth. It's sweet. The color is awesome. And you guys even came through with the fire vegan food, so I appreciate that. Fire! I never had that specific Thai spot, but it was really good. I tasted all the dishes, and I have pretty much nothing bad to say. And I'm like Gordon. I'm Gordon Ramsay when it comes to like
Yeah, I appreciate
grading
that.
food. Like I'm literally like super harsh and like critical, but that was really good. So thank you guys.
We're big on the best. We're big on trying to make sure that, you know, we're putting our best foot forward. After all, it's a sneaker show.
No
So,
pun intended. No pun intended.
so you know, we talked about drink heat. We talked about food heat. Let's get into some sneaker heat. There's so many shoes that have been coming out, as always. Is there anything?
It never stops. It
It-
never stops.
I mean, but we love it, right? Other than the fact that we don't get them sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Is there anything that you're hoping to catch, or anything?
Uh,
Anybody, crew, cast?
I mean, I was hoping to catch the Travis Scotts. I know he just did like a raffle on his Instagram page and stuff like that. I also saw that these dudes like bought it like 200 pairs or something like that. And I was just like, yo, I never hit. Like anytime I use the sneakers app or like I just can't hit. So I mean that was one. I always love a nice retro that's dropping.
Mhm.
But again, it's just so hard to get certain shoes nowadays that it's just like I don't even like gas myself up to be like, oh, I'm about to get the and then don't get them, you know. So it's just like
Yeah.
I deleted the sneakers app like 6 times off my phone. Like that's how bad it is. I'm like,
I used
I'm
to
never
be
gonna
that
win.
way.
I'm never gonna win. I'm never gonna win.
I used to be that way. I'm not gonna lie. Like I would say within the last 2 years, the sneaker app has been coming through. I've got
Really?
it.
Like what is your trick? What is the
There's no.
secret?
That's the thing. There's no trick. I don't know the algorithm.
I mean, are you
I
up
go
at
on.
6:50 a.m. and just like
Yes.
just ready?
I mean,
Just-
well, now I'm up at like 6:30. I'm set. I checked to make sure my card, everything
It's
is
set up.
auto.
Right,
My shoe
right.
size is auto. So I'm ready to go. And I used to be crazy. I used to have my computer up my
That
you know,
does
my
not.
phones. I used to be sitting there like, you know, at 7 o'clock, like,
That's
you
funny.
know,
That's
beep, boop,
funny you
beep,
said
boop,
that because when the homage ones dropped, I really wanted those so bad. Like, and I was like, I'm getting these. I don't care. The universe is with me. And, I got up at like 6
Manifesting.
o'clock. You feel me? And this was after I had deleted my sneakers app. I ended up downloading it again, obviously. And I was like, yo, I really want these homage ones. Like, I didn't think people was gonna be on them like crazy like that, but I was up at 6:59. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I'm about to press the button. I hit the button, boom, and I had to go and put all my information in. The size, the address, the card, the bank card information. And I'm just like 3-4 minutes past. I'm like, I'm not getting it.
They were like, bro, they're
It's a
gone.
wrap. So
She
we're on.
swears that having everything set up.
It does not. I don't swear
Is-
that it's a guarantee.
No, not a guarantee, but that it enhances your chances.
I feel like
it
it
speeds
could.
it up. I
It's a time.
have been set with multiple devices. Everything set, ready.
No
Again,
way.
I say it every episode. And what am I excited for? Again, to get I got it. I
Right.
just wanna I got
That's
it.
it.
We're like focusing. I wanna
Not the dude who went viral years ago. Like, got him. Not that guy.
not
Because
not
the
that.
guy.
That's what you get.
That's
every
what
week.
I feel like. That's
Right.
who I get.
Exactly.
Got him.
Exactly.
We sit there
I
like,
don't want him no more.
and
No
now
more, no
with
more.
these now with these like raffle draws that they have, like sometimes the longer that I wait, the more I feel like there's a chance, and that's when I get, oh boy, like
Got him.
yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes it's crazy. I say it all the time that you feel lucky to be able to purchase something with your own money. But I do luck up. I say I take L's more often than I take W's, but I do take W's off sneakers.
I
You
take-
just
I
gotta-
take mad L's.
You just got to like I tried for sometimes but that's the thing too. I'll try for stuff that I don't even necessarily like. I tried for the dunks that came out this morning, like the powder dunks.
The homie got
And
that
I'm
real
like,
sick.
we're just gonna do it. We're gonna go for those Sakai Blazer lows that came out. I didn't get either one of those this morning. Y'all don't talk about the L's. Y'all don't
I talk about
the
mine.
Because the L's are few
Talk
and far in
about
between. The L's are few and far in between.
The L's are absolutely not few and far between. The
I'm like,
W's
if they're few
are
and far between, then that's
the
that's,
W's.
yeah.
I'm just fortunate. I don't get more
Let me ask
shoes
you
than
this.
I.
What outweigh? Does W's outweigh the L's, or does the L's outweigh the W's?
Honestly.
Definitely the W's are going to outweigh the L's because you
That's
go in
amazing.
expecting to get it. Unfortunately, with the way the game is now, you go in expecting a L. So when you get a W, it could be a W on something light.
Right.
But it's like,
That happened to me before, like stuff I didn't even want, but I was just like, oh, I'll just try and get it just cause. Just
I
you
felt
know.
like that about the Oreos. I finally got something.
but she don't
then-
get no God.
Listen, nope. I still didn't get a got 'em. Remember, I wasn't
She
in
wants
at
the
the
picture. She
time, so
wants
I
the
didn't get the
picture.
got 'em
Yeah, that's
little
what she
picture.
wants.
I had to go to my email and be like, "Oh, so y'all just took my money? Okay, that's cool."
Wow.
But
But
then
did you get them?
I got them,
Okay.
and
But you
then
ain't got
heard
'em.
around. Kind of everybody got them. Like they
Everybody
for the
did it,
streets.
but they
and I
they
was
came
like,
through.
"So y'all gonna be for the streets?" Shoes.
But do you like them?
Wow.
Well, no, you said they were.
What?
The Oreos are
It
like
was just one of those, like,
Yeah.
nah,
It's one of those.
just throw the fish,
I got
throw the fish in the
I
bin. and
finally, I got them.
I feel it. I feel it.
You
It be
know,
like that. It be
I
like
want
that.
to excited. I got
It gets worse. Like, it's gotten so much worse over the last 3 years. Just y'all don't want me to go all in deep. about
Well, you
how
know
I
what?
feel
Nah,
about
like
it, but,
we're all about history, and I feel like part of even a conversation we had prior to this is that love them or hate them, you know, Yeezy switched this style up and switched
Absolutely.
over to sneakers and fashion,
Absolutely.
and he turned the sneaker game upside down. And I know that aside from being a connoisseur, you're just an overall fashion and like sneakers
100%.
like
100%.
historian. So why don't you actually lead this sneaker history, and let's
Okay.
not even just focus on the sneakers, but what Yeezy entering into the sneaker game did for the sneaker community.
All right. First off, I always felt like when a an iconic artist dropped like a shoe, like I felt like it was important just to have it just for the culture wise. You feel me? The Kendrick Lamars or like even Rihanna's Pumas, they weren't all that, but they're Rihanna. You know,
Right.
it's like this is her shoe. So yeah, going back to, I mean, when Kanye was first with Nike, you feel me? It was a lot of hype around the shoes, but you rarely seen them like in person, like really on people's feet. So
Right.
especially like if you even go like to the Red Octobers, that was almost like a mythical shoe.
Yeah.
Like no one has these. Like
Yeah.
how is this even a thing? Then transitioning into like Louis Vuitton, a lot of people slept on the Louis Vuitton Kanye West kicks or whatever. But once he redid everything with Adidas, I feel like it was kind of right at the peak of reselling, and it's just something about like when the first ones dropped, you know, the 350 with the black and white joints or whatever.
The zebra joints.
Yeah. The ones right before that.
Right.
The V1s, I believe they were. The zebras came exactly right after that, which is one of my favorite Yeezys. They got a lot of bash. Like people were hating on them and like, oh, those are ugly and this and that. But once certain people started to wear them and like people would give them good reviews, like, yo, these kicks are mad comfortable. Like these is like dope, and like everybody started to kind of just hop on the wave.
Wait, so are you telling me that people wear shoes just because of hype?
People wear shoes just
It's
because
like
I've
breaking news.
I've
like
seen
cats
people
are
get
wearing
hyped
ugly
off
shoes.
kicks because they was like, oh, these about to smack on the resale market, and then they'll get them, and the resale market is no bueno. Like you probably make $20 more
Congrats.
than what you
You played
spent.
yourself.
You know,
Yeah.
played yourself.
And
played
now, after they take their money, you made nothing. Yeah,
Exactly.
you lost money. Yeah. Congrats.
So I just feel like, excuse me, I feel like it was just a huge culture shift because they were a little futuristic. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we don't like what looks different to us. Like we want to stick to the silhouettes of like Force Ones and like Jordan 1s and 3s and 5s and like, you know, because the shoe is all about a silhouette. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I like about the kick. And when Yeezy dropped, it was just so different from a lot of other shoes. It was almost like, wait, do I hop on the bandwagon? Do I wait a little bit? Do I, you know what I'm saying? And that fast, like they started reselling like 3 times the price. And it's like, yo, like, ain't y'all Nike heads? Like, what are y'all even doing over here at Adidas? And that just goes to show the impact that Kanye himself has had just on the culture, you know? A lot of people call him crazy and like this and that and the other, but I mean, what genius isn't, you know?
I was gonna. I mean, yeah, he's crazy, you know.
You're a Gemini, right?
But you know, I do think that there are elements, especially in terms of creativity, where he's undeniably, you know, genius in his ways and his mind. There are some things. There are lots of things. Let me say that to be clear, that he has said that I don't agree with, and I'm not going to change my opinion on
I'm
it.
pretty
But
sure the top 3 are.
you
I
know,
know
but
what they are.
you know, you cannot.
Which one of them was slavery was a choice, right?
Slavery, Harriet, we can go on and on. But
That's the
at
topic
the
for
same
another
time,
show. But I do have some cool thoughts on that actual TMZ rant. That
Yeah, but
we'll talk about that.
But at the same time, I do feel that Kanye, you know, between music, even his holy fashion clothing, and his shoes, he definitely changed the game. And even his exodus from Nike to Adidas absolutely changed the game and put value on the collaborators' name and their work.
And he was on Nike's head for a minute, if I remember. Like, Nike won't let me be creative. Like, they won't let me design. They won't let me do this, that, and the other. And, you know, Adidas gave him this platform to be like, yo, just be you. Like, kind of go crazy. Bring in who you want to bring in.
And now look at Jerry Lorenzo. Wait a minute. Like, so I'm doing all this for Nike, and when I come to you, I want more, like, you like what I'm selling. It's selling out, right? Give me more creative liberties.
Exactly.
Give me more royalties on what I'm making. Give me more ownership to what I'm creating. No? Okay.
I'm pretty sure Nike's like,
Let's
damn,
walk.
why did we let Kanye go?
Yeah.
You know?
You know? But they have to learn that, you know, they're not bigger than the people that they bring in. And hopefully, eventually they will, because they're losing some masterminds. You know what I mean?
Facts.
But
and another cool thing I thought, which at first I didn't, I was just kind of like, damn, like these are dropping every week. There's a new Yeezy, or every 2-3 weeks there's a new Yeezy, and I kind of was like, damn, this is like, he's moving too fast. Like, slow down. Like, But I mean, they were being consumed so quick that I started to respect the fact like he's dropping so many different colors and so many different, you know, varieties of different versions of the shoe, and I was just like, yo, that's actually kind of dope. Like, you would never see Jordan, you feel me, drop like 8 pair of 3s in 1 month. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He wouldn't. I wish he would.
oh, that would
more
be
variety.
amazing, right?
Yeah. But sometimes I do feel like, yay, you dropped the charcoal gray, the ash gray,
And
the
then the light gray.
ghost gray, you know, the speckled gray.
Right.
Have you found a blue in the factory? You know, like
apparently he's supposed to be coming out with the Jay-Z blue ones.
interesting. I mean, and
I'm
I
kidding.
did.
I made that up. But
I did. I'm like interesting. I did just see that
Yeezy.
he rocked some
Drop
all
some Jay-Z blue.
he rocked
Yeezys.
some all reds, and everybody's like, "Are you finally coming out with some?" You know.
That's what he had at Donda, right? Was it the Donda? Or
Well, no, not those. He was these. I want to say they were like some 350s in an all red, and they're like, "You got some like Red October Yeezys coming, or what's up?" Because you know he actually fought hard and got ownership to the name, so that like the Red Octobers and all of that. When he was leaving Nike, because he's like, I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing, but that's mine, and that's why Nike can't drop anything similar
That's
under
what
that name.
Kawhi tried to do.
Yeah.
When he left, like he wanted his logo, you know, the K with the hand with the K and the L. Kawhi Leonard.
Oh, big fight, yeah.
I'm talking about Kawhi Leonard, who plays currently for the Clippers, or maybe plays for the Clippers. I don't know what he's gonna do this offseason, but he did this. He went through the same thing, you know, with Nike. Like, yo, this is my logo. I made it up. Like, this is my intellectual property. And they're like, yo, we ain't rocking with you, bro. So Yeezy was able to pull out that one. Pretty smooth.
A lot of people, and that comes down to understanding your rights and not being so gun-ho to get a deal that you don't work yourself out of your future, you know?
Facts.
You know, but speaking of future, we actually want to get into the future in clothing, which is your own style. And we're going to go ahead and hit a commercial break so that we can plug, and we'll be right back with y'all.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Kane. Make sure you stop by Etsy and check out Richbum Vintage, you guys. That's RICHBUM Vintage. We got some of the Grail jerseys, some of the Fires tees, and we're going to get you lit for any occasion, summer, spring, winter, fall. You already know what it is. Richbum Vintage on Etsy, also on Instagram, Richbum Vintage. Chill.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to The ConnoiShoer. We're here with our boy Kane, and we're going to jump right into the artist, the designer, the seamstress, the like fashionista. You have so much going on. So I'm just let you take the floor.
I try to balance it, you know. I try to balance it. It's not easy all the time. But yes, I am an artist, writer, producer. I have an EP out right now called 8.
Fire.
EIGHT. And the reason I called it 8 was not because of Kobe, even though mad respect to Kobe. It's because when the 8 is turned sideways, it's an infinity symbol, and I was like, yo, I just felt like this would be a dope, you know, title of an EP. So that's out right now. You can go on my Instagram, iamrealmusic, easiest Instagram name in the world.
So solid. The fact that you got that is crazy.
Right? I almost deleted it. My homegirl was like, you're tripping. Like, no, don't delete your Instagram name. And I was like, all right, cool. So I kept it. But yeah, over the last, let's say, year, I started to get into more like sewing. I always wanted to know how to sew, but growing up, I guess that was kind of like, we felt like it was like feminine almost, like, oh, like masculine men don't sew, or like, you know what I'm saying?
And that's our community, because in other communities and in Italy, the seamstress are men, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. But I always wanted just, you know, to learn how to sew, and I ended up meeting the homie Larry at Soul Folks in Lamert Park, where we met, actually. Yeah. Shout out to B. Shaw, Kicks Be Clean, and Brian and all of them. You already know
our boys, our guys.
They were supposed to be here, but one of them got sick, so I am here. But
they'll be back.
They'll be back, and maybe I'll come back with them.
Most
but yeah, so artist, writer, designer. These pants I have
I was
on
gonna say, you
right
gotta
now,
tell the story behind these pants right here.
So I had this like 4X Bape sweater that I had thrifted, and I had it for like a couple months, and I was just like, you know what, I'm about to take this to the Goodwill or like delete it. I'm gonna delete it. Give it away.
Yo, we are in such a different world. You know what?
Delete it.
Oh, delete this.
They gonna snap this sweater into the atmosphere, right?
Somebody just watched
But
that
I was
shit.
like, you
I'm
know
just
what?
like-
I'm gonna try and like utilize this material and make some pants. So I ended up like putting the hoodie on me and like wrapping it around my waist and like just trying to see how can I, make this work. And I eventually I was like, you know what? I gotta cut it. Like I can't be scared. So I ended up just chopping it up and just like went for it. And this is what happened. And it came out pretty good, right? I was like, for my first time. So since then I've just been like creating like, a lot of different pants. Pants is one of my favorite clothing.
Mhm.
I feel like people sleep on pants a lot. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's all about the tee, which obviously it is, and the kicks. But I feel like the pants are just as important.
Everybody has a thing.
At least now.
I'm jacket shoes. I'm jacket
I
shoes.
feel like I'm everything, but I just feel like most people put pants last. It's like that's the least of my worry,
Or maybe guys, because I think pants
Guys,
are
right.
pivotal for women. Pants are pivotal
Absolutely.
for women. Like,
Absolutely.
the wrong pants will ruin the perfect shirt, the perfect jacket, the perfect shoe.
Right.
Might make you stay at home. So, like, pants matter for ladies. But in terms of the quality, the style, it might be a little like, oh, it's easy to find pants. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
And then even because I thrift, like that's my whole life. Like
we
I
love thrift.
thrifted since way before it was cool. Way back, right? And that's just how I survived. Like even growing up, like I just felt like moms didn't take us like to the malls unless we were getting brand new shoes. Other than that, it was like, yo, you need Goodwill. We gonna get some uniform shirts. You feel me? Some uniform pants, and we gonna make it work like that. So ever since a youngin', you feel me? I was always going to the Goodwill. Just as I got older, I just kept going. And for a minute, I was not into reselling. Like I just bought stuff for me to wear. Like, oh, that's a dope shirt. That's this and that. And then
Right.
I was thrifting one day and I met one of the homies. Now that's my homie, Justin. Shout out Justin. He was like, "Yeah, man, what do you do with all this stuff?" I was like, "Where?" And I was like, "Well, what do you do?" He had a bunch of stuff. I'm like, well, "What do you do with all that?" He's like, "I sell all this." And I'm like looking at his fit. I'm like, he's just plain white tee, some sweat sandals, but fire in the cart or whatever. And I'm like, "So what do you do with all that?" He's like, "I sell all this, bro." And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, bro, I sell it online." And that day he showed me how to open an Etsy store. I bought I remember it was like a Harley Davidson 90s t-shirt or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I went home and I took a picture and I put it online and it sold in the first couple hours. And I was like,
It's crazy.
I looked at my girl at the time and was like, yo, we can actually do something with this. So that's when I started,
Vintage
to
is
double. I had to
crazy.
double up. You feel me? Because I always wanted to wear it for myself, but then I had to start thinking about the consumer. And I would pass up on certain stuff I couldn't fit.
Right.
Now I'm getting that stuff because I can't wear it, but somebody can. And so it just, and now vintage is this huge. Vintage is the new designer, basically.
Yeah.
It's $1,500 Tupac t-shirts and $1,000 band tees and you know what I'm saying, reaches
that's
way higher
crazy,
than designer stuff.
even because we're big on hitting the thrift shops for sure and trying to find some gems in there when it comes to some dope shirts, some dope jacket sort of situations. But I feel like lately going on Etsy, back in the day, I could go find
Cheap.
tour shirt
Cheap.
for $35,
Right.
and now they're like, oh, it's just $275, and I'm like, it's got a hole in it.
They got a few
And
holes
they're,
in it.
yeah, they're like, that's called character, and I'm
Right,
like,
right.
it's okay. It's
And
okay.
it's now the more holy it is, the more you can sell it for. I
Yeah.
have a couple tees online with stains and holes. I just sold a Donkey Kong, 90s Donkey Kong with a huge print on the front and the back.
Mm.
When I say ripped like a dog chewed through the shoulder, it was holes everywhere. Aggressive holes, not just hole punches.
Aggressive.
A dog literally chewed through a bag and ripped the shirt up so bad. So when this girl had picked it up at a thrift store and kind of was like, "Oh, what is this?" And I was like, "I'll take it." So she gave it to me and I went home for a minute. I was I looked online. The shirt was about $450 to $600, and I'm like, "Yo, that's good condition. This one is beat up. It's holy. Maybe I'll get 80. You feel me for it?"
Which is
So-
still crazy for a
which
whole
is
year.
crazy, but I
Yeah.
ended up putting it online for $150, And like so many people hit me up. It's like, can I get it for 100? Can I get it for 100? And I'm like, certain times I'm kind of like, well, I kind of do need 100 right now. But I'm like, I got it up for 150. That's really not like crazier than, too much crazier than 100. And the only reason I kept it at 150 because I feel like whoever purchased it was going to fix it up or, what I'm saying, take care of it and like, really be proud of the piece. So it ended up selling. And I was just like, yo, like when I say hoes, I'm talking about like beyond Kanye hoes, like insane. Like, and people, someone still purchased it. And I'm just like, this thrifting, it's crazy. Now, I go to Goodwills now and I see so many people running around like looking for tees and stuff like that. I'm just chill. Like, everything comes to me that I need.
That look is just like truly taking over. It's like it's not cool to have on a
look at Nike.
Even
shirt,
the new stuff though,
yeah.
like even take my shirt, like you know what I mean. This is a new shirt, but it's like let's give that
feel.
vintage.
But you know what?
This
This same shirt. So I saw this same shirt,
Tip bought me
different
this
stores.
shirt.
So I did.
Yeah.
I bought that shirt for this one that's just solid black was like $10 or something, right? Got it like $10, Ross Marshall, something like that. They had one that, like you said, they had like bleach stains and stuff, exact same screen print, bleach stains, and a little rip on the shoulder, $14.99. Yo, and I was like,
you to say $4 more.
no. This is the thing. No, it wasn't about
$14.99.
price.
It
was the fact
$5 more. You got $5 more for a hole in my shirt.
That's what I was thinking.
Like,
I
the
was like,
aesthetic is like,
I'm not paying $5 for a hole with some bleach. We got bleach at the house.
hair
Like,
scissors, right?
go do what you want to do with it. Like,
No,
and actually,
absolutely.
when they're saying, that we go to the thrift stores and look for stuff, that's what I go and look for. What can I go tear up? That's gonna be cool.
But you
No.
also found shoes for the purpose of like completely cleaning and then
Yes.
customizing.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I'll go look for. I look for house stuff a lot too,
Nice.
which that's what I'm normally going for. But I actually started going more for my daughter, especially when I saw the whole, ripped up jeans and this and that. I'm
You
like,
talking like
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm
Oh,
Street,
my-
Freddy Krueger just
yes.
sliced your
I'm
whole
like,
leg
my
open.
baby goes
Right.
to school in a new crisp jeans. She come home with them looking like that, and I paid how much when I can go get them? Then they started like that, and she
Right,
think they
right.
cool.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah,
fa- the
we
fashion-
definitely.
It's especially with TikTok now. You have all these TikTokers, but even with shoes, like all these TikTokers, posting and like now reps are supposed to be this huge thing on TikTok. Like people are mad promoting like replicas and like trying to get people to stop buying from resellers.
I feel like it's such a sore subject in the community, and we had Soulmate LA on the show, and he got into that. Like, I stopped taking L's by way of buying replicas, and I feel like there are a lot of people that are doing it that aren't being honest about it.
Right.
So I feel like it's such a mixed thing
Facts.
within the
Facts.
sneaker community, and like to a certain extent, it's like, and even I'm sure you probably find, some gems in terms of sneakers, even for resale at the thrifts. And there are some people who, if they got it off GOAT, they pay for it. But if it's from the thrift, even if you clean it up, it's like, I don't want
Looking at the shirt that Kane has, remember the Supreme foams that I found?
Oh yeah.
Found a pair of Supreme foams at the thrift store, and they wanted.
reps.
They weren't UA. They were fake. So
Super reps.
Those were
they
swaps.
those
For
were not it.
What did they
So
want
$24.
Oh, okay.
That was also your sign.
Yeah.
That
Listen,
was like,
$24.
Right,
And
like,
even
wait,
the guy
nobody
there,
else.
he had like Jordans and things at the front. He's like, no, I know Jordan. I know these are all real, and I keep them up here because he had them at a higher price. But the thing, I'm like, somebody bought these and was walking around
Like
cool
right.
because they
That's
were
funny.
worn.
I have a similar story.
Born.
This just happened last week. I went to the Goodwill in the Valley, and this young black girl was going to buy a Chanel bag. It was the Chanel wallet bag. And I'm just walking in, and I see her like looking at the bag and stuff like that. And I stopped and kind of see like, oh, how much they want for that? $100? I'm like, $100. So I'm looking. She's on the phone with her homegirl, like, girl, I don't know if this is real. And da-da-da-da-da. So I walk over to her. I was like, let me help you out. So she's like showing me the bag and like we're online like looking up, you know, real Chanel bags and stuff like that. She's like, no, this has to be real. It has a serial code. It has this. I'm like, do you not understand how intricate these replicas are becoming? Like they will have everything you need, but it's one little. So we finally figured out the smallest detail was that when you open the wallet, the Chanel was actually supposed to be written on the bottom of the button and not the top of the button. And that small little detail saved her $100. I'm like,
that's crazy.
And I'm telling the people at the Goodwill, like, y'all shouldn't even be selling this for $100. Like, y'all know we poor when we shopping in
It's
here.
the
Like,
Goodwill. Somebody brought it for free.
It's
Like,
all free property. Like, and y'all sitting here acting like y'all getting commission. Like, so yeah, I done had so many fights with like Goodwill managers about how they price stuff. Like, some Goodwills don't even like me to walk in there.
You walk in there like,
I'm turning customers away. Like, man, this is you don't want to buy this. Like,
hey, that shirt ain't worth $7. That shirt ain't worth $7.
It's not even single stitch. Nah, put it back. So yeah,
You're like, you know they got those shoes online right now. You don't need to get them right here.
and I've seen people sell reps for the price of regular non-reps. Like
for sure, people get work.
Getting work, and I'm like, that's cold. Like,
I can't even get into the story. I'll get into that off camera because it's gonna cause some drama. But I definitely know of somebody out here bleeding people in the streets.
Jugging people, just jugging.
And I was like,
Yeah.
but you know, I feel like between the thrift stores and then just not being a novice in the game, you definitely have, you know, found some crazy finds. So why don't you show us some of, and today I feel like it's a little bit of a mix because you got grails and gems in terms of clothes and shoes. And because we're ConnoiShoers from soul to soul, we're big on, you know, everything head to toe. So what do you have in this magic box?
Let's see. The first thing in the magic box is
top them suspenders.
a massage.
Yo, my guy Cam is off camera.
I'm looking
But
off.
did you see
I'm
the
looking
blue suspenders?
Off camera. Come on
Cam,
now.
come here. No,
Come on now.
Come here, Cam. We're not gonna keep shooting. I need to
Classic.
see these suspenders.
Classic.
I need to go ahead and model it.
If I know.
What happened?
I've never seen
Why
that.
do you have those on?
Yo,
I needed a belt.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, I'm like under your shirt. Okay.
this guy is midway. Like, you know, this is when
That's
Stefan
very innovative.
is transitioning back
Very
to Steve.
innovative.
Like, I feel like the polo is Stefan Urkel, and he's like transitioning back to Steve Urkel right now with.
I thought I saw it coming out when the shirt started going up, and I was like,
Hey, y'all,
we're
hey, that's a
not
life hack. If y'all ain't got a belt,
Hey,
put some suspenders
I've
on,
done it.
throw your shirt under it,
I've
and
done it.
you'll never know.
I have won quite a few of my
Life
grandpa's
hack, life
suspenders, but what's going in the
But yeah,
box?
let's see what we got in here. I obviously it's a shoe podcast, so I was like, well, let me try to keep it more sports based, semi, you know.
Show us
what you got.
But
your
yeah,
grails,
so
your gems.
this was already hanging up. This to me, Shaq O'Neal Orlando jersey, super classic, beautiful condition, you know, champion.
And they can cop this on your Etsy, right? Which we're gonna
not
put.
this, but
That's mine.
this mine.
Nah,
That's
brother,
mine.
you
And
got to
then
get
certain
your
stuff,
own.
like certain stuff I'll keep based on either how I got it or if I feel like it has a connection to me. Obviously, I love basketball. Shaq was obviously one of the best players in the game. Played for out here, Los Angeles.
Big love
So it
to
was
Shaq.
only right, you feel me, to get a vintage Shaq jersey. And how I got this jersey is funny. I was thrifting at the Goodwill, and I think I pulled like I don't remember what it was. It could have been like a Bape t-shirt, or I forgot what it was. But a guy across from me was like, "Yo, that shirt is really cool." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." So as I'm leaving and like, you know, about to check out, I just gave him the shirt. I was like, "Here, bro, you can have it." And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, you really like the shirt. Like, here you go. You can take it." And he was like, "Man, like, I want to, like, what can I give you?" I'm like, "Bro, you don't have to give me anything." And he was like,
And
That's dope.
I was just
that's great.
"Well, thank you. It does fit me. I do wear small, so I'll take it." So that's how I got this piece. Then we got an Iverson, obviously, Philly, throwback, champion. Another Philly, I just thrifted this one actually. I don't even remember where I was at, but I was like, yo, like,
Damn, that's crazy. That especially finding that out here too.
right with the
In good
shimmery
condition.
writing on it. Michelin Ness joint. What else I got down here? This was just hanging up. Single stitch Lakers 95, 96. This was actually, I was confused when I first got this shirt because I'm like, wait, Magic didn't play for the Lakers in 95. Like, he was already retired, but I ended up doing a lot of research and he did end up coming back for like a year.
Right.
And like, you know, trying to get things back going. But that didn't work out, so I thought that shirt was pretty epic.
Now that's crazy.
I'm
Yeah.
always into like single stitch tees, obviously. That's more like, when people ask me, well, how do you find, like, how do you know if it's vintage or how do you know what to look for? How do you this and that? I'm like, well, the first thing you look at is the tag. If there's no tag, then you got to go to the stitching. Well, graphic, obviously graphic. But like you said, some shirts now have vintage graphics on it, but the tee is a reprint. Like,
Right.
Forever
Right.
21 was doing that like a lot,
Yeah.
like using like, you know what I'm saying, 1979 Beatles tour. You feel me? But the shirt really made it 2019.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
just knowing like what to look for. This is a Jerry Stackhouse, another 76ers, you know. Just pick players who I feel like were epic in my vision. Let's see what else I got down here. When it comes to shoes, y'all, I was always like a retro person, like especially when it comes to Jordans. And then, sorry, I just want to lap back to what we're talking about with the vintage. Even like if you look at Nike in the last 2 years, 95% of their stuff has been vintage. They've been bringing back 90s Air Maxes and, you know, all of the ones, even though they've been, you know, changing the colorways, but the ones originated in the 80s. So, like,
Right. 85.
and I feel like so many, you know, brands and so many, even TV shows and artists, they're wearing, you know, like Kanye just had on a Tupac shirt at the Donda. Was that Donda? No, that was when he was on stage with Drake, which Drake and Kanye, y'all need to come back together. Y'all was making effing music. But anyway, so yeah, when it comes to kicks, as far as me, I've always been like retro. Like when it comes to Jordans, I'm like, yo, for a long time I was like, if he didn't play in them, I don't want to wear them. Like I don't care what color it is. If he never put them on his feet, like that was just how it was.
He put some stuff
For
on his
a
feet
while.
that I still don't want to wear.
No, he definitely did. But I had to filter out what I thought was cool. And then another thing with me as far as shoes, which now I regret, growing up, I didn't keep a lot of shoes. Like just moving from house to house and like, you know, just like needing space and like
Wear and tear. We just didn't
about
know
6 months
things
ago
were
I had
gonna
some
be-
fives, right? I had the original fives, black suede, and I ended up running in them. I ended up hiking like a mountain with the homie, and they weren't beat up, but they just had hella dust on them, and I was just like, man, I'm not gonna clean these. I literally just pulled over on King and just dropped them off on Normandy.
When you literally could have swung by the
Right,
roads that
and
Kicks
so
Be
Kicks Be
Clean
Clean.
and would have walked outside.
That's funny.
But
That's funny.
the more you know.
So yeah, I mean, I've left like Gucci shoes and like SBs and like older apartments and stuff, and now I look back like, damn, like why did I leave those? Why did I? Realizing you needed space, you couldn't move everything, or you know, I had to downsize, and I never really bought storages and stuff like that. So I was just like, whatever, it'll come back to me. But certain shoes that I did keep, that did mean something to me, were a few of these right here. I'm gonna go ahead and
Pulling out the
Couple
bag,
retro joints,
fancy,
you feel me?
fancy.
little vintage
And
Disney
yeah,
bag.
that is heck of vintage.
So right here we got one of my favorite J's, 13s, which I love all the colorways. What I really liked about this shoe was when I first got it. This was my first pair of shoes that my mom bought me when I was in middle school or elementary. I'm sorry, I was in like 5th grade, and I never had any Jordans or anything, and I got the original black and white ones. And I just fell in love with them. I was like, yo, the hologram, and I wore them every day with my uniform. Like, yo, like my uniform is trash, but my kicks are fire. So
What color was the uniform?
blue and white. It
Okay,
didn't match
okay.
at all, but still.
I mean, it's better than like green. Like,
Right,
you know.
yeah, it was just the simple navy blue pants,
Mhm.
white polo. So that's what this is. I don't want to put the shoe on.
Nah, go ahead. Go
You
ahead.
sure?
You solid.
Okay.
We'll spray it down.
Okay. So that was one. The connection was my first pair of Jordans as a kid. So always try to get those when they come back around. Certain ones, not all of them.
I feel like everybody remembers their first
pair,
major
right?
pair, though.
And then I
feel like-
have,
I feel like-
of course, everybody knows these,
I'm
and they
saying
actually
that.
look a
I
little
know.
dirty right now because I think I danced to these the other day.
Classic though.
Classic.
Like you have to have
11s,
those.
gotta
You
have
need
those. These are actually from 2012, I believe. Before the redrop, because you know they redropped.
Yeah, was that 2019?
Yeah,
2018,
a couple
2019?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had those for a while.
And dancing in them, and they're
Dancing
solid.
in
The
them,
older,
yeah.
but the newer ones would have started messing up.
Right? This
Like,
already
yeah,
would
like,
peeling
no
up,
creases.
Like, exactly. Like, so just the quality and like the production started to even change more, you know, as they're going on. They're like, yo, we can make the shoes even cheaper and still get as much money. Like, yo, let's. And that's why I love the ones too a lot, because the quality of them, like the sole has the stitching around it.
Those
So
are my favorite. Those are my favorite.
It's
Jordan
really,
soles.
and I had a pair of ones that I wanted to bring. Only reason I didn't because I didn't want Nike to steal them because I'm customizing them. But they're, I'll show you a picture of them off camera. And then of course I have another of one of my favorites.
Again, iconic.
Yes, sir.
Iconic.
Iconic.
And the ice is pretty nice.
Yeah,
The
I think
ice
I
is
wore them
nice.
like 4 or 5 times. Funny story about these, y'all. So when these dropped, these are from 2017, I believe.
I think they
Or was it
redropped
18?
around
Yeah,
somewhere
17.
around there, yeah.
And I never got them growing up because I was just like, I don't know why, I just never got a chance to get my hands on them, and they were always sold out, or like I just never could get them. So when I saw these were coming back out, I was like, yo, I don't care what I do, I have to get these shoes. Like, I have to get these shoes. And we all know the history behind this shoe.
Right,
I
the
think,
45 on the back.
if I'm not
Let's
mistaken,
see.
I believe this is one of the first Jordans that someone actually was killed or murdered over.
Yeah, there's a dude on Instagram, and he specifically focuses on shoes and brings up the cases and stories of victims to sneaker crimes.
Which is
We'll post
terrible.
it.
It's
But we'll
terrible.
post
It's
it.
terrible. No one should ever
'cause
die,
it's-
have
yeah.
to die over something that was made in China for $12.
No one should have to.
Die
That's a
materials.
different episode. We're not gonna get into.
Right? So,
We're not gonna
quick
get
story
into
about
it.
these. When these dropped, I called my uncle. My uncle was the president of Warehouse WSS, right?
Mhm.
And they don't get a lot of drops, especially retro. So when I found out they were getting these, I had to call my uncle. Like, Uncle, I really want to get these 11s. Like, I haven't got these ever since a kid. Like, I always wanted these. He's like, all right, go to my store, get your wristband, and just, they'll tell you when to come back. So I go to WSS, I get my wristband. I go home, and the next day is when they drop. So I go back the next day, I get in line. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get my shoes. Let's go. I get to the front, right? Tell me why my card is not working.
Oh.
So I'm swiping my card, and they're like, sorry, it's not working. I'm like, bro, I'm literally on my app. Like, look, I have money in my account. Like, it's not like,
They
I
said
have
that
the
ain't
money.
got
Listen,
nothing to do
they like,
with
bro,
the price
I'm
of tea
sorry,
in
bro.
China.
but you can't, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. So at this moment, I'm like stressing. I'm like, I turn behind me, and everybody look like piranhas and hyenas. I'm like, they about to get my shoes if I move out of this line. So I said, I'm not gonna drop my uncle's name, but I was like, do y'all know who such and such is? And I was like, yeah, of course we know who he is. I'm like, well, that's my uncle. And they was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, if I get him to call you and tell you to hold these shoes, can you hold them? He was like, that's the only way is if he calls us. Like, he can't text us, he can't send us an email. So I'm like, all right. Before that, I'm like, well, let me run to the ATM outside of the store and see if I can get the bread, right? I go, card's not working still. Then I realize the chip on the card is cracked. So it's not going to read any ATMs. I went to the gas station across the street. I'm like going to every ATM in like the block radius trying to figure out what's going on. And finally I look at my card really close and I see it's a crack in the chip. And I'm like, so I go back in the store and I'm like, I call my uncle as I'm walking to all these different, Versatiles. And he hasn't picked up. So I'm like, damn, I'm not about to get my shoes. He finally called me back. After I shoot him a text like, yo, I'm at your store, like I'm in the front and my card is not working and da-da-da-da. I was like, can you please call them? Please call them. He's like, all right, for sure. So he ended up calling my phone while I was back at the front desk, and I give him the phone. I'm like, yes, this is my uncle. And they're like, oh, hello. He's like, yeah, hold the shoes for my nephew or whatever. And they kind of all looking like he wasn't capping. Like, he really knows the president of WSS.
I feel like
You had such a near damn they got me that
man.
falls into damn they got me, but I got them
I'm
back.
telling you, like,
you know
that
what
was
I
like the
mean?
longest hour of my life, y'all. So he was like, hold the shoes for my nephew. He's gonna come back and get them, right? Mind you, my bank, I have to go all the way to my bank, which is in Silver Lake. Right now I'm off of the warehouse, the WSS on Western and Venice.
Wait. You know what? I feel like this story's too good. We're gonna make them wait for it. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Alright, watch this. What the hell was that? Man, you guys couldn't do any better. Tripping, bro. You tripping.
It all looks good to me.
Chris, hit a backsmith or something. What are you doing?
Can you actually do that?
Man, y'all can't do that in real life.
Can you? I can do that.
Oh, we just go skate.
Alright.
I don't even know where we are in the show anymore.
I'm sorry. I had to take a turn, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay.
It did.
So back to my story, finishing off these 11s. So I get my uncle's like, hold him, you know, that's my nephew, blase. Then I have to drive like 30 minutes to my bank because again the chip is not working, so I have to literally go get cash.
So you went from the hood to Sherman Oaks.
I went to Silver Lake.
Silver Lake,
Yeah,
there we
I went
go.
all the way to Silver Lake, got the money, went all the way back, and finally bought the shoes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But it was
Those
just
are definitely gems.
It was funny just because they were just like, thought I was capping, like, that's not your uncle. Like, I'm like,
The
talk to him,
president,
please, talk to them.
really, nigga.
So that's how I was able to get
Hold them.
Thank you,
Okay.
Uncle. I appreciate you. And then I'm gonna bring out.
And he's still keeping them icy, Uncle.
Yes.
4 years later, they're still clean.
I'm hoping they turn a little yellow, and get that vintage look on them.
I don't hear that often, but
Yeah.
you are Mr. Vintage, so
Absolutely.
I see you.
I'm like the older, the better. And then the last two I'm gonna bring up. One of my personal favorites, ice creams.
Those are pagers? I
Yes,
have not
the
seen
pagers
those in person.
Super old. You could obviously you see all the cracks and stuff like that. But funny story behind ice creams. When I was in high school, I was wearing ice creams in high school, and people were like, "What are those? Like what?" Like low key clowning me almost. Like
What
even,
are those? They weren't
even
saying what are
Bapes,
those.
like,
They were saying
me
what
and the
are
homies
those?
were wearing Bapes in like 04, 05. And people were just like, what are those? Like, what are those? Well, sometimes we got clowned, and sometimes like people would respect them. Like, yo, those are crazy. Like, what? Oh, these are bathing apes. Like, well, what is that? Well, what is the bathing ape? And it's like you go into this long like
Right.
Pharrell and Nigo and Japan and you know what I'm saying, all these other things like that. So yeah, we was rocking ice creams way before people were on the ice creams. And people still aren't really on them like too much. I love ice creams. I love Pharrell. I'm
Rocking
just
them right now.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm wearing the Iverson ice cream.
Straight off the foot.
You feel me? People, I feel like slept on these.
I
was like, yo, I'm like Iverson and Pharrell, like two iconic people. Like I
And
have to
Reebok.
get- and I'm not even really a low
Tiff is very
a low
big on
top
Reebok.
guy, but I had to get these.
No, those are clean. Those are clean.
Thank you.
And the colorway is sweet. Like that pastel feel to it. It's just nice.
Appreciate it. And then my last one is another one of my favorite J's. 12s, which I actually took these to Kicks Me Clean before I had all my students writing them. But these are special because growing up, I always hooped in these. All the homies wore these to play basketball. Shout out to the homie Piff. Always pulled up to the crib hooping in these. These particular pair, I had all my students for my last job. I worked at a school in the Valley. I had all my students sign my shoe. And I told them that once they see this like on TV, they'll be like, oh, I know him. Like, oh, I signed that shoe. So
he wasn't capping, y'all. He's on TV.
I made it. Let's see who's on here. Ava, what up, Ava? Knox, so many awesome students, and students, you know, they inspire me so much to be creative. So when I brung these shoes up there, and it was like, you really want us to write on them? I was like, just do whatever you want. Like there's no such thing as a child that can't create to me. And I just felt like, well, whatever you do is gonna be dope. I'm still gonna wear them, and yeah, so there it is, right there. You can expect a lot. I'm actually working on a music project right now, another EP that I'm working on over the last few weeks, which I plan to drop more towards the fall, maybe after October. So over the next few months, I'll just be recording those records. During those 3 months, in between now and like October-ish, I'll be shooting some music videos, which I'm super excited about.
Nice.
Shout out Janelle. Shout out V. We've been working together, cinematographer and a director. Been working together to come up with some concepts, because I feel like my music, I feel like I'm a visual artist. So like I didn't really want like the regular video, like me rapping in front of the camera. You feel me? Like rapping my nuts and like, oh, I'm a rapper. Like I feel like it's so much of that, and I wanted to really take like a creative turn, like even like, you know, like Kanye or like Joji. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Joji, Japanese artist.
Yeah.
Very artistic, very theatrical, but simple. And that's what I'm working on with the people I just named. So that's gonna be fun. I do have a brand, my own brand. I won't say the name of it yet.
All right, protect the brand.
But it is. I have been. Let's just say I've been collecting vintage blanks for about 2 years now.
Oh wow! So all of your clothing is coming on, printed on your vintage.
Yes, everything will be upcycled. We don't believe in fast fashion. That's pretty much why I do thrift. It just
the man's vegan. He don't eat fast food. He don't do fast fashion.
No fast
He's
food,
all about
no fast fashion.
pure, straight quality.
So that's fun. I also want to set up something where I can give back more to the homeless, as far as like clothing. I do donate when I can, but I do want to end up setting up like in the future like a place where homeless people can just come get free vintage clothes like anytime.
Oh, that's dope.
All day,
That's
you know?
fire.
So that's going to be in the works as well. Looking for a team to help me get that together. And yeah, just constantly creating. I made my hat. I got a few orders of these. People
He does
want.
it all, yo.
So
I was gonna
yeah.
tell you that hat was crazy. I didn't know you made it. I thought you like found it somewhere. That's crazy. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, just staying positive and continue to just strive forward. Being a vessel for my students. I work at a high school. I won't say what high school, but I work at a high school in LA. And I'm always, encouraging them to be creative and find what works for them, because everything doesn't work for everyone, So yeah, just being a positive mentor and just keeping it going, and yeah, trying to buy more shoes, trying to get the Travis Scotts, and yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple months.
Hey man, we appreciate you coming through. I feel like I love that everybody who comes through to the table has such a unique perspective based on the way they see life, the experiences that they had, and
can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I know everybody rap in LA, everybody produce, everybody do music, everybody's a director, everybody and their mama is signed to Drake, so I'm gonna just spit a quick little verse for y'all if that's cool.
Have your business.
Because if it's whack, y'all can be like, yo, don't go get his EP. If it's dope.
It's not gonna be whack. I'm gonna tell you that now.
If it's dope, then please go support it. But yeah.
Well, let me ask.
Yes.
Let me ask, because I know TIFF is all about making. I'm not gonna ask. It's our show, and I know how TIFF rolls. We're all about making them what? Come back. So go ahead and stay tuned for the special performance by the one, the only, real music himself, Kane. You know what it is. Let's go.
James Worthy clap. Been giving back to the homeless, even at my lowest. When I was my brokest, I didn't record it. That wasn't the motive. I didn't want no tokens. That wasn't the motive. I noticed that some of y'all be on social media trolling and scrolling and hoping that somebody trolling gon' notice your bogus act. I send them back like a cul-de-sac. I give them only facts. I done seen niggas get killed on they live. Stop up and police commit genocide. Niggas do anything just for some likes. It's a war outside, it's a war outside, but it's on you. They want your melanin, they want to sell it for 500 every gram till it's 500 grand. Then that's $1 million. That's for you and your friend. Make sure your family good. I talk to myself a lot in my head. When it come to my demons, a lot of them dead, but shit, they probably resurrect again if they keep trying to push me to the edge, okay? She said she want to bring a friend, okay? I never tell them what we did, no way. And now we on the same page, like, what is that? I need reparations. You mean like when blacks couldn't hang with the whites? No, that's segregation. You mean like when they were just killing your people? No, that was just hatred. I need reparations. Give me my paper. Give me my acres. Chill.
Hey, what can we say? We already told you. It's from soul to soul. And if you don't feel that, matter of fact, don't come back.
ConnoiShoer in the building. See my soul, you see my shoes. We are ConnoiShoer in the building. See my soul, you see my shoes. We are ConnoiShoer in the building. See my soul, you see my shoes. We are ConnoiShoer in the building. See my soul, you see my shoes. We
I got the custom kicks with custom flips. Stepping outside on some custom ish. Ooh, I'm just telling, shoestrings so cold. I caught a felon. I got the custom sneaks with.
So go ahead and stay tuned for the special performance by the one, the only, real music himself, Kane. You know what it is. Let's go.
James Worthy clap.
Let's go. Or we'll stay here.
Go on and do it.
I just read this thing.
What happened?
Hey, y'all been hearing about those trades? They're crazy. So, Kane, you said you made that hat yourself?
Wait, I missed it.